And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk. Glad you're able to join us for this evening's show. We have a lot to cover as spring sports continue to march on as we head towards the end of March and into the start of April. Got a lot to recap for you and all sorts of special guests, including guests from the men's and women's tennis programs, track and field coming off a big weekend at Montreat. Also, women's lacrosse and baseball will have guests from all those programs. Meanwhile, glad to catch you up on all sorts of action over the weekend. Beginning with baseball, we're going to get to the guest on the baseball side of things a little later. A remarkable weekend, 3 thrilling games at Pfeiffer, slugfest for a couple of them in particular. And the Tornadoes win the series, improved to 5-1 in USA South Conference play. So an excellent start for the Brevard College baseball program. Frankie Vasquez, just an incredible single game performance, 11 RBIs. That's right. That's not a typo. 11 RBIs in one game versus Pfeiffer. That matched a school record, or actually broke a school record, matched a conference record. We'll be talking more about that a little later in the show. And no surprise, Frankie Vasquez was named USA South Conference Player of the Week. Next up for the Tornadoes baseball program at NC Wesleyan, a 3-game series in USA South Conference play. Begins on Friday and then a doubleheader on Saturday. Softball will be back in action after an off weekend. They will be taking on Mary Baldwin on Friday right here on the campus of Brevard College. That's a 1 o'clock start for the doubleheader in USA South Conference play. And then Saturday action continues as the Tornadoes host Southern Virginia. Also a 1 o'clock start for that doubleheader at the BC softball field. Women's lacrosse, we'll be talking to women's lacrosse coaches and student athletes a bit later in the show, coming off another big USA South Conference win, 16-2 over NC Wesleyan to improve to 2-0 in conference play. Next up for the Tornadoes, a midweek matchup versus Averett. Non-conference play here at Islamel Family Field. That starts at 4 o'clock on Wednesday. And then the Tornadoes back in USA South Conference play on Saturday at Greensboro. Men's lacrosse, next up for the Tornadoes under head coach J.D. LeMay, a matchup versus Methodist. That's on Saturday at Islamel Family Field, a twilight start there. And then men's lacrosse will be at home again on Saturday, April the 6th. Mark your calendars for that one, 2 o'clock versus William Peace. Track and field, we mentioned track and field, just huge results over the weekend at the Montreat Invitational, just around the corner up in Montreat, North Carolina. A school record 5 Tornadoes win USA South Conference Athlete of the Week honors. Devin Broadmeyer, Channing Barker, Jackson Wilkerson, Makayla Street, and Kellen Triplett, all winning USA South Conference honors. So congratulations to that group there, and just tremendous work. Next time the track and field program will be back in action will be a trip to Charlotte on April 5th and 6th. And then the Tornadoes will host the inaugural Tornado Classic. First time ever a regular season track and field meet will be held on the campus of Brevard College. That's at the Frank Patton track on Friday, April the 12th. So hope you can mark your calendar and join us for that one as well. And that's going to bring us to our first guest of the evening. And we're going to get into the recent results on the tennis side of things as well, as we're joined once again by men's and women's head tennis coach, Brad Jones. Coach Jones, thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, Phil, thanks for having me.
Well, exciting stuff as the USA South Conference schedule is now underway. And this weekend, big weekend for the Tornadoes. You're able to sweep William Peace. You know, you actually played them twice. One counted towards conference play and then a second time on Sunday. But then clean sweeps all the way across the board on the men's tennis side, 9-0 and 6-3, the team results. Then on the women's tennis side of things, 6-3, 5-4, a bit tighter there. But Coach, would love you to recap the weekend from your vantage point. Great to get that conference win.
Yeah, it was a good win on Saturday. We had a lot of good matches on the men's side. I know Bryce, Bernitt, and Hayden LeBlanc, they had a really good doubles match, and Hayden had a really good singles match. And then on the women's side, we had some tough competition at number 1 doubles and 1 and 2 singles. I believe we were up in number 1 doubles on Saturday and kind of let that slip away. But, you got to give credit to William Peace on the women's side. And, they came, they competed, and it was nice to, have some tough competition and to kind of see what we can improve on.
Yeah, great stuff, no doubt, and to come away with those W's. Tell us a little more, Coach, when it is a tight affair like what we saw in women's tennis, the 6-3 matchup on Saturday and then 5-4, even tighter on Sunday. Tell us a little bit, behind the curtain, how that sort of unfolds for you, but also the team. Is there awareness of the scores as the match is going forward and so forth? And, what's the approach from the team to make sure you get the tight victory?
Yeah, Sunday I was a little nervous, not going to lie, as it started to get a little bit closer and closer as the score, kind of the match went on. But really, in reality, we substituted a lot of people in on Sunday. So we knew the score wasn't really going to be, as good as it should have been, because we were getting a lot of people some play that, don't get a lot of playing time and stuff like that. So that's really kind of, when you look at it, it can make kind of look a little deceiving, but it's really, once you look at the box score, it's kind of, you're going to see a bunch of different names. And then on Sunday, we just added a few ladies at number one doubles. Brooke Garland and Jada Orr played one doubles. And then Sophie Trantham played one singles and Brooke Garland played two singles. And really, I just wanted, I needed Jada to kind of get that look at number one doubles as we go into kind of our meat and potatoes of the conference play. And then I needed Brooke to have some good competition along with Grace or Sophie against their number one, who can really hit the ball hard and really where she wants to. So it was nice for them to kind of see that before we get into Meredith, Pfeiffer, and kind of those slated matches.
Yeah, great benefit of having that extra match against William Peace on Sunday. Another non-conference matchup coming up this Friday, Coach, versus Franklin. Can you preview that one a little bit for us at the McCoy Tennis Complex?
Yeah, so they're on spring break. They're coming back through Brevard from, I believe, Hilton Head. So, they want to play, and we have a nice facility. We can host two teams, and that's what we're going to do. Luckily, we're out of class that Friday, so we can have a little earlier start time, so then the kids can kind of head home for Easter and all that.
Yeah, part of the Easter break. And then on the back end of the Easter break, back to conference play at Pfeiffer on Monday, April the 1st. That's a 2:00 start. Certainly you've been preparing for matches like that all season long.
Yeah, so, the guys will have a little less Easter break. We'll have to come back and kind of hit a little bit that Sunday, and then head to Pfeiffer on Monday. And then the ladies can kind of come back as when classes start, and then kind of pick up with practice on Monday. Hopefully we can get some practice in Tuesday, and we can get that match in on Wednesday.
And then Saturday, April the 6th, back at the McCoy Tennis Complex versus Mary Baldwin. Always good to be back home, especially when the stakes are getting that much higher with conference play. Can you preview a little bit both that match, but even looking forward, Coach, just the quality of play in the USA South Conference and how every one of these matches is, going to be neck and neck in so many ways?
Yeah, it's really on the women's side, it's, we could be anywhere between number 2 to number 6. You just never know with these teams. They got a little bit deeper with depth on their rosters, and a few teams kind of lost a few people to give some other teams some chances to kind of make some upsets and beat some teams that we've never beat before. So yeah, it's going to take a lot of work on the men's and women's side. A lot of focus and practice to figure out what we can do better in matches, but really just going in and trying to play as relaxed as possible, trying to play our games, and most importantly, have fun. That's the biggest thing, and I think the more we have fun, the more we relax and the better our game is. So it's really just kind of getting out there and doing what we know best and how we can play our games and stuff like that. But yeah, it's going to be a tough slate. Every match, it's going to be a dogfight, and we really got to make sure we go in with a positive attitude and, and a never give up attitude, really.
Yeah, and fans, be sure to come on out to the McCoy Tennis Complex. Big opportunity. It makes a difference when there's a good crowd and fan base on site to motivate these student athletes. I see you nodding your head, Coach. It does make a difference indeed, correct?
It does, and I'm laughing because I spent all day putting up one half of the set of windscreens, so it's going to have a new look too. It's going to be pretty blue inside the McCoy Tennis Center. So it's exciting to be able to host some matches and show teams this pretty facility, and how pretty Brevard is, but really kind of to show off our new windscreens.
Quick little follow up on that, Coach. What's really the purpose of the windscreens?
So it's really kind of for the wind. It gets very windy. There's always at least 1 or 2 matches in the spring where we play with gusts that are between 20 to 30 mile per hour. So it kind of kills the wind a little bit, but also it helps the eyes a little bit to pick up the ball. Especially when there's leaves on the trees and stuff like that, you can kind of lose the ball a little bit, kind of in the surroundings and stuff. So it helps the eye, but really it's mainly for the wind.
And speaking to some of the photographers around the McCoy Tennis Complex, I know they're looking forward to it as well.
Photography, yes.
No doubt. Well, Coach, I'd be remiss not to also mention an award that was handed out on an individual basis today. There was a grand total, by the way, folks, of 7 tornadoes winning USA South awards this afternoon. And one of them was Hayden LeBlanc from the men's tennis team for the second time this season, winning USA South Rookie of the Week honors. I'd love to, from your standpoint, Coach, tell us a little more about Hayden and how big this award is, not just for him, but for the entire program. Whenever you get an award like this,
it is. It's good recognition. First of all, congratulations to all the Brevard players that earned those awards this week. But yeah, for Hayden, he's our number one. He came in. He's a little older, so his game is really, really good. He's taught at the club level, coached high school, won a state championship with them last year over in Lake Norman. So, yeah, he just brings a lot of experience and really the motivation and really the enthusiasm to the men's team and really just the program as well. He really comes out here, he gives it his all, and, he knows a lot. So it's really it's good that I can have somebody to kind of, help when I'm not able to or I'm not on the court. He can pick it up and kind of help others and inspire them or, show them what they need to do and stuff. But it's a big help. But no, he's a good kid, great player, and is really going to do a lot for our program here this year along with next year.
Great stuff, and congrats to Hayden indeed. And folks, just want to remind you, 11 a.m. on Friday, opportunity to see the tennis team back in action at the McCoy Tennis Complex, 11 a.m. As you mentioned, no school. So, if some of the student body might be hanging around still on Friday, if they want to check it out as well, would love to see them out at the McCoy Tennis Complex. Coach, can you stick with us just a moment or two longer? We've got a couple of your student athletes backstage itching
Absolutely.
To get into the program, as Bryce Bernitt is here. Also, Brooke, Garland, great to have them here. Coach Jones, before we let you go, would love for you to introduce even further to NATO Nation. A lot of NATO Nation already knows these two, but would love to hear from your perspective just what kind of student athletes they are and what they mean to the program.
Yeah, first of all, I'll start with Bryce Bernitt. The kid has improved so much on and off the court. I'm so proud of what he's done with his tennis game, how much work he's put into his tennis game, but really most importantly, the work he's put in off the court, in the classroom and all that stuff. It's nice when you have other teams come in and watch him play a match and say, wow, like he's improved. Like, who is that kid? It's nice. It's a compliment. It's really nothing negative. It's a good compliment to be given, and he has. He's busted his butt, and he's finally seeing the rewards from that. Brooke Garland, I've been saying it for the past 4.5 years. She is Brevard tennis. If you come in our facility, look in our building, Arthur Ashe Award winner, she's definitely going to be missed. I'll be honest with you. Fighting back tears talking about it, but she's one that, I'll say it again, you wish you had 8 more of her, because that's what she truly means to this program.
Fantastic, Coach. Really well said, and can't wait to get to know these two student athletes even more and introduce NATO Nation to them even further as well. Coach, we'll see you at the McCoy Tennis Complex on Friday. Thanks again for joining the show.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
All right, there he goes, Coach Brad Jones. And as he helped us introduce these two in that upper right location, Bryce Bernitt. How are you, Bryce?
Good. How you doing?
Doing great. Great to have you guys on the show. And also Brooke Garland back once again on Tornado Talk. How are you, Brooke?
I'm doing good, Phil. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, love talking tennis with y'all. And Bryce, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about the weekend. We're talking about it with Coach. You know, you were able to get that win on Saturday in the match that counted towards conference play. Tell us about your weekend and, you know, how the team all together felt.
It's definitely a good win for the team to see like all the hard work and all the hours of practice come from, and we sweep William Peace. It felt great from a team perspective and a personal perspective. We got a good win over a great doubles team, me and Hayden, and like they're very solid, and it was definitely a confidence booster, and to win in singles definitely helps boost confidence going into like conference play, because that was our second conference match, and to be 1-1 and have a couple of games or matches that we think that we can win up ahead, that it was a great weekend, definitely.
Brooke, would love to hear about the weekend from your perspective as well. Kind of unusual where you're playing the same team 2 times in 2 days.
Yeah, it was definitely different from our first conference match against NC Wesleyan, but we were able to kind of go into this one with good head on our shoulders, I felt like, and all kind of working as a team, both on the men's and women's side of things. And it was great to be able to kind of play in a different role on Sunday, but also just to get those wins on Saturday was great. And there were tough matches all around. So especially got to give props to Sophie and Hannah, who they had a tough doubles match on Saturday. And then Jada and I had to kind of flip around and play them. And so it was good to see that different pace, I guess. But overall, I thought the matches were great and it all worked out.
Outstanding. And, you know, part of that formula, as you mentioned, Brooke, is the double side of things. And let's stick with you, because you mentioned the match on Sunday with Jada. Then you also played with Madison Bowen on Saturday. You guys came up with an 8-1 win. Talk a little bit about Madison as your teammate, and also just the idea of, you know, being flexible enough that you're able to work with different partners.
Yeah, so Coach has recently kind of flipped doubles around a little bit. You know, I've played with Sophie for the past almost 2 years. And so we jive. We're kind of the peanut butter and jelly. We know how each other works when it comes to the court, but being able to kind of flip things around and play with Maddie, that's been great. We've ended up playing Sophie and Hannah at practice a lot. And then Sunday, he had the opportunity, because William Peace was mixing up their lineup quite a bit. He threw Jada and I together, which was totally kind of unexpected because we've never even hit together at practice. So that was kind of a shock at first, but honestly, I thought it went better than I expected it to go. But overall, I just think we all kind of have the ability to jive with one another, and just being able to be comfortable is really important for matches like William Peace. So
great stuff. Talking to Bryce Bernitt and Brooke Garland from the Brevard College tennis program. And Bryce, meanwhile, you've been working with a new doubles partner this year. You know, the latest winner, the USA South Conference Rookie of the Week, Hayden LeBlanc, and the two of you have been getting it done. 5 wins at doubles, you know, throughout this season. And tell us a little bit about the chemistry and what makes you guys such a potent combination. The Bryce and Hayden doubles squad.
So we're both lefty, and in tennis that's kind of a rare thing to have a lefty, and then especially to be playing against 2 at the same time. It just changes like the whole game, because the angle that you hit the ball is totally different, and the angle that your opponent sees the ball is totally different on the serve or on the forehand. So having 2 lefties means you can do totally different tactics that like you just would not expect. Like, it's very rare, and it catches a lot of people off guard. And in addition to just being lefty, like we've been working very hard on and off the court. I mean, Hayden is personally like a great friend of mine. We hang out together all the time. We have chemistry off the court. We have chemistry on the court. We work hard off season and in season to improve our game. and the matches have shown that the results have been picking up, and they're just keep on firing away, really.
One follow-up that Bryce, I want to know exactly, what that means to be a left-handed tennis player. So can you tell us a little bit about, maybe the challenges for you, one, but also the advantages of being a left-handed player, exactly, what that, means for both you and the opponent?
Yeah, so to start with challenges, I mean, there's not a bunch. I mean, the one thing is getting coaching is maybe a little harder because you're having to do something totally opposite, like on a total opposite side of the body. So it's a little harder to replicate or reciprocate like form and get technique down because you're watching someone do it from the opposite side. But as far as positives go, I mean, there's a bunch. Your serve is spinning at a totally different angle, and that ball is not coming slow. I mean, it's like an 80 mile an hour, 100 mile an hour ball. It's gonna bounce different. The like strategically, the way you would want to win a point is different. So like if you're lefty, you're gonna want to hit it to a right-handed person's backhand, and that just happens to set you up for an open court shot, an approach shot, and a finish off volley, which is just like bread and butter for someone who's lefty. And it's just tricky. I mean, a lot of people aren't used to seeing a left-handed player. I mean, probably 1 in 10 matches you'll be up against a lefty, and it can catch you off guard and throw you off a little bit.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And certainly I can see what you mean as far as that advantage of an all lefty doubles team. That's got to be particularly challenging for the opponent. Well, Brooke Garland, now a grad student here at Brevard College. Tell us what it's been like, to come back for your graduate year, but get that one more year of tennis as well. Has it been fun for you, gratifying, hard work, I would imagine, being a grad student now? Tell us a little.
Yeah, it's been different for sure, just because the people that I came into my freshman year of college with, they're not here anymore. So it's kind of strange not having those familiar faces, Jamarcus, Allie, Hamrick, that I came into this with and experienced the last 4 years with. But it's been cool to be able to see a new group. I get the chance to hit and be teammates with the freshmen this year with Gracie, Jordan, and McKenna, and they're great people. They're great tennis players. But overall, I mean, it's been rewarding, and my coach keeps joking with me that I have a 6th year, but I know my mom's watching right now, and she's probably shaking her head no. But overall, I wouldn't trade it for the world, and I'm grateful to be able to play my 5th year. So.
Yeah, outstanding. We're grateful to have you here as well. Tell us a little bit about the studies, Brooke. I know you're now in one of the master's programs here at Brevard College.
Yeah, so I'm in the Health and Human Performance program, and it's a great program. It's still kind of new, and so getting things adjusted. But overall, I kind of had an advantage because I was able to start it as an undergrad. So especially this semester, it's all online, so it's been pretty easy going. And then I have an internship with Pisgah High School, so the high school I went to. And so that's been also really cool because I've been able to do a coaching internship with them. And so just being able to kind of go back to my roots there, but also still be here, which is great because I get to play tennis. But as a whole, it's been pretty laid back this semester, but definitely the last, I would say, 3 semesters were pretty intense. So.
Well, glad you're able to have a little more laid back on that side of things as you're, embarking on this 5th year of tennis. And we're so psyched to continue to see you play at the McCoy Tennis Complex. Bryce, let us know what you're up to in the classroom. What are you studying? Tell us about your major and so forth.
Yeah, I'm a exercise science major. I'm a junior this year, so next year should be my last year, hopefully, if all goes to plan. And I've just been working on checking all those classes off my box. Gonna do my internship this summer, and then hopefully getting ready to graduate in 2025. But that's about it.
Yeah, but great stuff. Both of y'all pursuing your dreams. It sounds like, as far as what's next after Brevard College as well. Well, Brooke, before we kind of let you go, I do want to just sort of reflect a little bit because, fifth year graduate student, but you've, taken the long view. You've experienced it all the way since you arrived here as a freshman, like you said. Can you sum up, what this whole experience has been like for you and, what Brevard College really means for you?
Yeah, so like I said, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's been long, but I keep joking I'm going to be in school forever. But as a whole, I mean, Brevard has allowed me to grow as a person, as a player, especially. But overall, I would just say it's one of those things you have to really soak up because if you're not careful, you can look past it and one minute you're a freshman and the next you're a grad student. But just living in the moment kind of is a big thing for me. But Brevard College will definitely be missed, but it's something that I will forever be grateful for. So
great stuff. Well, before we let you go, you both know the drill. Shout outs or thank yous, an opportunity to give a thank you or a shout out to anybody who's may have helped you along the way, or you just want to say hello to. Bryce, we'll give you the first shot at it.
I'd like to shout out my parents for supporting me through all these years of tough schoolwork and stuff and tough sports. And I'd like to thank Coach Brad and Coach Jimmy Wynn for always keeping the program running smoothly and definitely just giving me encouragement and giving me some hope that to work harder and to work for something, not just work for myself, but work for a bigger picture thing in life.
Well said, Bryce. Nicely done. Brooke, Garland, your turn.
So the list goes on and on, but first and foremost, my family, my mom, dad, and sister, they keep me out here and they're so supportive. They always come with snacks. And so we greatly appreciate everything they do. But then just like Bryce said, Coach Jones and Jimmy, they do so much for us. And I don't think everybody realizes how much they do for us. And then kind of going along with that, the community, because we have some of the best community supporters in Brevard, and they come out to all the matches, they support, they give. So, and I guess Brevard in general, because this past weekend we had a great turnout for both matches. So that was kind of a nice way to kick off the home conference play. So
great stuff. Well, folks, hope you can come on out on Friday, 11 a.m. matchup versus Franklin for men's and women's tennis. Bryce Bernitt, Brooke Garland, great job this evening. We'll see you back there at the McCoy Tennis Complex. Thanks for joining the show.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to switch gears very quickly now and bring in a couple of track and field student athletes. And we've been mentioning this throughout the show. Just a blockbuster performance at the Montreat Invitationals. We're joined now by Channing Barker. How are you, Channing?
Oh, Phil, I'm great. How are you?
Doing great. And Makayla Street joining the show. How are you, Makayla?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Great to have you both on. Well, what a weekend. Big results at the Montreat Invitational. That's an understatement. 5 USA South Conference Athlete of the Week awards, including each of you. And the list is going across that ticker on the bottom. You can check them all out. Channing, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about your weekend and, just how this was so substantial for the team altogether.
Yeah, came into this weekend. Montreat's always a really good competitive meet for us. We're still, in the earlier stages of outdoor. Friday, got to run a fresh 1500. Got to go up against some really fast girls, and that pushed me to get a good PR. Saturday was back at it, had a somewhat fresh 800. Got to go out there and turn my legs over a little faster. And then we ended the day with a fun 4x4 just to cap things off.
Yeah, Channing finishing 5th in the 800, 8th in the 1500, on route to being named USA South Women's Track Athlete of the Week. Congratulations on that. One more follow-up for you, Channing. The Track Athlete of the Week award. How'd you hear about it? And, how does that feel to be able to win that, not just for yourself, but, they were often, considered team awards as well. All the people who help you along the way.
Yeah, it was really exciting to learn about that. It just shows that all the hard work that we put in previously is really starting to pay off, and people are noticing, and we're really digging in to what Coach Hall has given to us, and we're seeing results from it, obviously.
Yeah, no doubt. And the proof's in the pudding with all these results coming in. And Makayla Street, meanwhile, the sophomore from Rock Hill, South Carolina, named USA South Women's Field Athlete of the Week. Makayla, you won the high jump. And so you won an individual championship over there in Montreat. Can you tell us a little bit about your weekend and how that all went down?
Well, Friday I just did long jump, and then long jump I don't think I placed, but Saturday was high jump, and it was kind of exciting because I didn't think I was actually going to win, but the height went up to 5'1", and I just cleared it, and I cleared it on the first try actually, and it was just surprising to me because I didn't even think I would actually get that far.
Yeah, fantastic. And just a huge result. And then you win the high jump. And then same question for you. You win the Women's Field Athlete of the Week award. Can you tell us how that kind of went down and, how you maybe learned about it?
Actually, I learned about it almost 30 minutes ago. My teammate told me, and I was like, did I really? And she just said, yeah, congratulations. And that's how I found out.
Makayla Street, a lot of folks in NATO Nation know you from the basketball court, and you came pretty much straight from the basketball court. That season didn't end that long ago. We were talking to your coach, Donald Hudson, just a few weeks back, and now here you are in track season. Tell us a little bit about that transition for you, how the two sports sort of complement each other and what's it been like for you this spring, going from basketball to track.
Well, in basketball, I do have a lot of speed, and I am a good jumper when it does come to basketball. So those two things just add up when going to track and field because I have speed and I have jumping height.
Yeah, so inherent skills in both the sports, of course. And one more for you, Makayla, before we get back to Channing. Tell us a little bit about long jump versus high jump, and maybe the training involved, the skills involved for each. And do you like one more than the other?
So long jump, you're just basically running and jumping off of 1 foot into the stand. Whether to high jump, you're jumping over a bar that continuously moves up. So although high jump might be a little bit more difficult, high jump is definitely more of my favorite event out of almost every event on track and field.
Very good. And Channing Barker with us as well, specializing in those running events. We see in things like the 800 and the 1500, as well as other events also. Like to explore both those same sort of subjects with you. You've played soccer here at Brevard College, been a big part of the women's soccer program over the years. Tell us a little bit about how those two sports, in your career as a track and field athlete and also a soccer student athletes have either, how they've complemented each other, frankly.
Yeah. So obviously soccer is a lot of running. So a lot of the prep work that I do over the summer going into soccer season is inspired by a lot of the track work I do going into competition season for track. But I would say that the biggest translation for me is that grittiness on the field really translates to grittiness on the track. And that's how they complement each other for me. And that's probably the coolest part of it too. That's probably the best part of playing both is that you just have that athletic grittiness.
And then tell us about the different events that you run in, Channing, and how, again, like the different skill sets and the different strategies in each of them.
Yeah. So for the 15, I just started running that one last season. First time I ever did it, I was a little bit lost, not exactly sure what to do. It's definitely more of a controlled race, which takes a little bit of getting used to. Even this season, it's taken me a few races to get used to and really learn how to race it. So that's something I'm still learning. And then I really love the 800. It's a little bit faster paced. It's got a lot more grit to it. And you're just turning your legs over so much faster than you are at the 15. But I like to say it's only 2 minutes of pain. Only 2 minutes of pain instead of 5. So,
Well, coming up, the Brevard College community is going to have a chance to see the track and field student athletes up close and personal. It's the inaugural Tornado Classic on Friday, April the 12th at the Frank Patton track. That's right here on campus, folks. If you've never been to the campus, right in the middle of campus, a big part of the campus, of course, the Frank Patton track. And this event's going to be here. We had conference championships last year, but for the first time, we're hosting our own event and in regular season competition as well. Makayla, speaking on behalf of yourself and also the team, everybody excited for this home event?
I'd hope so.
Well, what are some of the advantages to the home event? You know, the idea that, you know, you're able to you know, sleep in your own bed and run on the track, I guess, that you're used to practicing on, those kind of things. Do you think it's going to be an advantage for you?
I think so, because we're going to have at least a lot of Brevard students there already, and then we're just going to have more support than going an hour away to a track meet.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And I'm looking forward just the idea that more folks here at Brevard College get to see what you all are all about, because so often, you know, your events are, you know, a couple hours away and so forth. And, you know, we get the results at the end of the day, but, you know, we'll be able to see you up close and personal. Channing, I'd love to hear your perspective on hosting this big event.
Phil, I'm stoked about it. It's going to be so much fun because, like you said, no one really gets to come to our meets, and track meets are full of competition and they're so competitive and everyone is cheering everyone on. The atmosphere is always so much fun. So I'm excited for people in the community and students to be able to actually see what it's about and really get to dig into it and hopefully become fans of the sport.
Yeah, I was able to get a sneak peek at a preliminary tentative schedule, like super secret type stuff, and, you know, really look cool as far as the layout of events and so forth. Encourage folks to come. It's like a festival atmosphere, so much happening at once at the Frank Patton track. That's Friday, April the 12th. Well, do want to dive into academics just a bit. Channing, you're a senior, heading towards that stage, I would imagine, you know, when you're going to collect your diploma. Tell us a little bit what the diploma will be in and, you know, your studies as of late.
So my major is environmental studies with a science concentration. And then I have a double minor in history and sustainable agriculture. So that's what I will get my degree in. Kind of just followed a little bit of passion for my minors. Thought it'd be interesting to learn some stuff like that. And I'm not sure exactly what I want to do with my degree yet. That's the golden question. So what everyone keeps asking, but maybe I'll have an answer for you some other time, but not sure yet, but really looking forward to that May 11th date.
Awesome stuff. Well, congratulations in advance, Channing. Really sensational work here throughout your years at Brevard College. Makayla, get us updated on what you're working on academically. Have you selected a major and what are you focused on?
Yes, I am a double major with psychology and criminal justice with a minor in coaching.
Fantastic. And have you looked further ahead, sort of what you would want to do career-wise with that?
I have not.
No pressure from me, that's for sure, Makayla. So no worries there. But awesome that you guys are challenging yourself in the classroom as well and taking advantage of these programs here at Brevard College. Well, before we let you go, Channing Barker, we'll let you go first, the graduating senior. Shout outs or thank yous, anybody that's helped you along the way. Got all the time you need.
I really want to shout out Coach Hall. I think it's never easy getting a new coach in. And I think he's really taken us all and given us his best effort. And we can see how much he's trying to really build the program. And that means a lot to us, especially the ones of us who have been here the previous 2-3 years. So big shout out to him. Shout out to my parents, obviously. They're at every track meet. They've been at every track meet since I was 10. And then huge shout out to my team because they're the ones that make it fun. And they're the people that are cheering me on from the sidelines and whatnot. So huge shout out to them.
Well said. Thanks for that, Channing. Makayla, shout outs for us?
I want to give a shout out to my parents, to my family, really, and to Lexington. I want to give a shout out to my families, to my family and to the team, and to Coach Hall for getting me to jump over that 5-1 bar, because I definitely would not been able to do that without him.
Channing Barker, Makayla Street, two of several track and field athletes of the week. Talking about a near sweep, winning 5 awards in 1 week. That might be a record across all of our sports here at Brevard College. So congrats on that. Great job at Montreat. Can't wait to see you in action at the inaugural Tornado Classic coming up in a couple of weeks. Channing, Makayla, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks, Phil.
Thanks for having us.
All right, there they go. We're going to switch gears once again and head towards women's lacrosse, is joined by women's lacrosse head coach Roya Tahmassebi and also assistant coach Toby Naylor joining the program once again as well. Coach Tahmassebi, how are you?
I'm doing well, Phil. How are you?
Doing well. And Coach Naylor, how are you this evening?
I'm good, thank you.
Well, good to be with both of you and good to continue reporting on these results, because once again, the Tornadoes with a big USA South Conference win, a 16-2 win over NC Wesleyan over the weekend. Coach Tahmassebi, take us through that one. What did it take to put together that kind of performance, 16-2 win?
Yeah, I mean, the way that we showed up was not something that was built overnight. This was the work and effort that we've been putting in from the start of season. And now we're starting to see everything finally come together, which is awesome. It's so fun to see. It's so fun for the players themselves. I know I think at the end of the game, we were in our huddle, and I think it was Zan who kind of mentioned, this was the most team play that we have done throughout season. And that's awesome to hear from a player, because we see it as coaches, but it's nice to see that the players are starting to kind of recognize, okay, everything we're working on, this is what it looks like. And starting out conference 2-0 is awesome. I mean, it's a huge confidence builder for the entire team, just to kind of keep going and keep pushing, because we're going to face some harder teams down the road. So knowing that we have the talent and we have the skills is definitely going to keep us going.
Coach Naylor, what did you observe this weekend with this 16-2 win?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what Roya was saying. I really think it was an accumulation of all the hard work the girls have put in so far this semester, and obviously the semester before. And it really just kind of go to show that everything we've been doing is working. And it was just kind of, now I feel like we've hit our stride, and good timing as well, obviously, now that we're starting conference play and really getting into the bulk of the season. So that's kind of the main thing I saw.
If we can dig into this just a little further, Coach, when I see the number 16, obviously there was a lot of offense generated. Take us through the attacking side of things and, what looked good on Saturday.
Yeah, I think our teamwork on offense is what got us there. It wasn't just one person going in and doing all the work. We really slowed down. We set a goal to run through our plays, and so the players went out there knowing exactly what they needed to do. They used each other. We had a lot of different goal scorers that day. I think it was 6 different goal scorers, which is awesome and just goes to show the teamwork that we did. And I know this has nothing to do with offense, but to get us to the offense, we do have to win the draw control. And I want to shout out Emily Denega. She earned her 300th career draw control during our NC Wesleyan game. And we're talking about, how do we get this success? How do we get this 16? It starts with that. It starts with the success on the draw. It starts with Kyla saving the goal or Amelia saving the goal and sending that clear out, and our defense and middies and everybody working that ball up. So while our offense really dug deep this game and did what they needed to do, this was an entire team effort.
Coach Tahmassebi, 300 career draw controls for Emily Denega. We celebrated that goal milestone earlier this season, but now this one, 300 career draw controls, and she's a junior. Keep that in mind as well. But I see a nod in your head there. Coach, tell us, just put this in perspective, for folks who might not know, the ins and outs of college women's lacrosse, just what that number represents.
That is unbelievably hard work. Like, that right there is effort, that's passion, that's drive. You don't get those numbers just by hanging out and doing whatever, wishing the ball's going to come to your stick. She puts in a lot of effort, and I'm gonna give Toby some credit too. He works with our middies this year, and so running them through the reps and kind of getting their skills perfected and all of that. So it's just, again, effort at practice, effort in the games. That is not an easy number to come by. We don't see 300 draw controls. That's not something that anybody just gets. So that's huge for her, and I'm so excited for her.
And Coach Naylor, Coach Tahmassebi just said, that you're part of that formula right there as far as the preparation goes. Can you take us through a little bit of that, in terms of what you all work on to, make sure you're able to perform at that level?
Yeah, it was really fun for me kind of being able to take over middies this year, especially coaching someone like Emily. I mean, it seems like she can do everything I ask her to. So it's a lot of fun coaching her and the rest of them. Just a lot of kind of technique work. Some of the stuff I've been working on is just the stuff that the technique coming off the draw and kind of their sprint stance and stuff like that. So I think a lot of stuff like that has been really beneficial. But yeah, with Emily, I mean, it's really a show off the hard work she puts in. And we were talking about that at practice today, actually. And I was like, yeah, well done on 300. All right, let's go for 4. And she just kind of nodded her head and was like, yep, okay. So she's definitely not satisfied where she is. She wants to keep pushing and breaking more records. So it just kind of, that mindset is, the reason why she's had so much success.
Awesome stuff. Coach Tahmassebi, looking ahead, we've got a match coming right up here at Islamel Family Field, less than 48 hours away versus Averett, an old USA South Conference rival of Brevard. That's Wednesday at 4 p.m. at Islamel Family Field. What can we expect in that one?
A lot of back and forth. Averett is a very good team, but we are matched with them. This is going to be a lot of hard work against a lot of hard work from both teams. I expect it to be a really exciting game. A lot of great effort. We're prepared. We're working hard. We know what we need to do to get done. And this is our last non-conference game before we head into kind of the thick of conference after this. So we're really wanting to end non-conference on a high note. Averett did beat us last year, so we want that win this year. We're definitely motivated to take that.
Yeah, in following the Averett matchup, a trip to Greensboro this weekend at 3 p.m., right back to USA South Conference play. Coach Naylor, I know you experienced this on the football side as well. You've got a non-conference opportunity to, keep the momentum going, keep the wins going and so forth, in the way that can just propel you into the rest of conference play. Big opportunity here for the team, correct?
Yeah, definitely. I think the kind of break in between the two, obviously we've had 2 conference games now and then a quick break for a non-conference game, but it's no slouch game. Averett's going to be a tough opponent, but it's just another chance for us to go out there and prove how talented we are, play another talented team, see how we stack up against them, and then just get even more momentum going into the rest of these conference games. So definitely very beneficial for us, for sure.
Great stuff. Well, hope we can see a lot of NATO Nation out there. That's 4:00 Wednesday at Islamel Family Field, a big non-conference matchup versus Averett. It's always good to square off against the old USA South Conference foe as well, regardless of sport. Well, coaches, can you stick around just a moment or two longer? We're going to invite in a couple of your student athletes who've been waiting patiently backstage as joining the program right now. We have once again in one square, so that this makes our job easy. Cass Hutto has joined the program. Great to see Cassie, and making her Tornado Talk debut, freshman goalkeeper from Baytown, Texas, Kyla Smith-Fondall. Coach Naylor, we'll let you start. Tell us a little more about these two.
Yeah, I'll start with Cass because I've had the opportunity to kind of work with Cass for longer now 2 years. I think Cass is really an unsung hero of our defense. I think oftentimes, she doesn't always get like the most recognition she deserves, but she's a critical part of that defense. And, she makes really good stops consistently on, every game, kind of pulls out really important plays for us. And then if she's not out there doing her job at a high level, she's supporting her teammates. She's got a lot of high energy and she's really supportive. And I think the other players on the team really cherish that. And then with Kyla, I mean, to come in as a freshman and get as much playing time as she's had, it's all tribute to her hard work and her positive attitude. Like, she comes in, she kind of is like, yep, okay, I'll do that. And she does that at a high level and she does it to the best of her ability. And I think that's the reason why she plays so much and why she's already had so much success for us.
Well said. Coach Tahmassebi, tell us even more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm now on year 3 with Cass, and every year she just grows into a better person, right? It's not just lacrosse, but everything she does outside of it too. I mean, she does a lot of internships. She's got a lot of passion. She's working with Morgan's Message, and all of that passion, carries onto the field. Even if she's not having a great day, she's still one of the loudest people out there. She's clapping her hands. She's yelling. She really does provide a lot of good energy for us, and she is a key part of our defense. She makes a lot of stops. She's really high up there in our stats for defensive stops in almost every game. She's just such a key part of that, and I'm happy that she's a part of this program. And Kyla, Kyla, she is so funny, always has something to say, singing a song, dancing, just has a lot of great energy that she's brought in. She started out pretty quiet, at least around me. And the more that we've kind of been around her, the more of her personality has come out. She's not only a great goalie, but she's a great person. And having the two of them back there on defense, I mean, I trust them with anyone.
Awesome stuff. Well, we can't wait to get to know them even further here on Tornado Talk this evening. Coach Tahmassebi, Coach Naylor, thanks for joining the show. We'll see you Wednesday at Ives Lamel Family Field.
Thanks, Phil.
All right, there they go. And once again, joined by Cassidy Hutto. How are you, Cassidy?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. And also with us, Kyla Smith-Fondall. How are you, Kyla?
I'm doing good, Phil.
Well, great to have you both on here and talking a little women's lacrosse. And Cass, let's start with you. 2-0 start in conference play, another big win this weekend. Tell us a little bit how the team's feeling coming off these wins.
I mean, we're super pumped up to keep going. Averett is a non-conference game, but I really think it's going to be a good game, good competition to keep our energy high and to keep us feeling positive going into Saturday, which would be a conference game.
Yeah, so these matches are important. They get more and more critical as we move further and further along in the schedule. And, great to see these goal totals on the offensive side, but equally impressive, these goal totals on the defensive side, allowing just 2 goals these last 2 games in conference play. Kyla, you obviously a big part of that, 4 goals allowed in these 2 conference games. Tell us from your perspective what it's been like these last 2 games and how you all are playing on that defensive end.
It's been very good. The energy is always it's there. I get ecstatic as soon as I get on the field with my team, knowing that they have my back. So, yeah.
And just one follow-up to Kyla, you've been able to manage a bunch of saves. We see him right there, that total 41. Tell us a little bit what it's been like, being thrusted into this starting role as a freshman, your first foray at collegiate lacrosse, and, you're coming up big time.
Basically, I look at it as a very humbling experience. I just do what I'm told, and I just try my best. That's basically how I look at it.
All right, a little more on this defensive topic, Cass. Tell us about the mentality of you all on the defensive side, and the kind of things you guys work on throughout the week and, the mentality going into any given game of what you need to do to shut down the opponent.
One of our biggest focuses on defense is being a team. The core 4 players that play defense, we're all super tight. We hang out outside, and I think that really shows when we go to play. And recently this year, we have adopted a new mentality of next play mentality. Not what did we do wrong this play, but what can we do better the next time this happens?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And I see it nod in your head, Kyla. Can you add to that as far as, the mentality and kind of the mission that you all have every given game?
I would say the mentality is just always hard work and just keep pushing and striving. And then we always have each other's back, and we're there for each other. So that's why I feel like I'm always counting on them.
Cass, tell us what it's like to just be a member of the Brevard College women's lacrosse team. What makes it, such a unique experience?
The people. We all have our own personalities, every single one of us. And, we have things in common, but it's the mesh of all of our different personalities that makes this team so unique and so special. And that's one of the big reasons I love being on it, just because, you come in with a perspective and then you can come out with a brand new one. And it's just great to see everyone grow and our mindsets grow together.
Kyla, this is your first experience with the team as a freshman, but it dates back to the fall because you all had the fall practice as well and the fall workouts and so forth. But would love for your perspective as far as what it's like to be a member of this team.
My main perspective is just basically all of us coming from different backgrounds and then all of us just coming together and unifying as one. And that's why I love this team and how they're all so loving and welcoming.
Cass Hutto, junior defender from Lexington, South Carolina. Tell us a little bit, Cass, how you got into lacrosse.
Well, my freshman year of high school, going way back, I actually played rugby. And when my team got disbanded, our coaches moved. One of them moved to Ireland. It was crazy. My best friend had actually started playing lacrosse because we had just started a women's team. And she said, you should come out. And that's what I did. And here I am.
Awesome stuff. Love to hear your background in the sport as well, Kyla, out of Baytown, Texas. Tell us a little bit when you first picked up a stick and how that evolved for you.
It basically started when I moved to Georgia about 6 years ago, and my best friend just asked me if I wanted to join a little clinic, and I just picked up a stick and just started playing since then.
Yeah, great stuff, and just thrilled that both of you ended up here and part of that Brevard College women's lacrosse program. Well, Cass, Coach mentioned this, and I'd be remiss not to mention it myself. You are busy beyond, the lacrosse field. You're, the secretary of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC. You are so involved with programs like Morgan's Message and some others around campus. Tell us a little bit, what your focus has been this semester away from the field and, and some of these projects of yours.
This semester has really just been prep for next semester. I am planning to graduate in the winter. So I'm trying to get all of the beginning of my senior classes out the way. I'm setting up internships. I have an internship that I'm getting experience at now. I work in athletics, so that is giving me really good experience. So it's prep. That's what it is.
Awesome stuff. And anything to update us on from the SAC side of things?
Right now, we're just doing Pennies for a Purpose. It's our conference initiative we do every year. It's a team competition this year. So the team that raises the most money will pick the organization that the money goes to. Some of them in the running, the Boys and Girls Club, the Family Place, Transylvania County Animal Services, and so many more. Each team came up with 3. So I'm really excited to see what team wins and where it goes.
Awesome stuff. And Kyla, have you zeroed in on a major here at Brevard College? Let us know what you're up to.
Yes, sir. I'm actually pursuing a career in psych. So I do want to go back home and do social work for teens. So, yes.
Outstanding and an excellent program here at Brevard College. Cass, how about you in terms of academics? Let us know what you're working on there as well.
I'm a business and organizational leadership major. I'm a criminal justice minor. Future plans will probably end me up in an athletics department out of school. Hopefully Brevard College. But I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome stuff. Well, appreciate both of you all. You guys know the drill. Shout outs or thank yous. And, we'll let the veteran Cass Hutto go first. What you got for us, Cass?
My mom, my dad, siblings, my grandpa, my boyfriend, obviously Riz and Miranda, and then my coaches from high school to now. I couldn't have done it without any of them.
Well done. Kyla Smith-Fondall, shout outs for us.
I would like to shout out my mom, my dad, and my grandma and the fam back home. I love y'all, and I'm doing this for y'all. Love you.
Awesome stuff. Well, great job, ladies, on this edition of Tornado Talk. We can't wait to see you out on Wednesday for the matchup at Lamel Family Field, 4:00 start for that one. We'll see you there. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you, Phil.
All right, we're going to switch gears quickly once again and bring on two members of the baseball coaching staff. We've got head coach Mike Victory on board, also assistant coach Steve Huckey. Coach Victory, how are you?
Good, Phil. Happy to be here.
Yeah, great to have you with us. Also, Coach Huckey here once again. Coach Huckey, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, Phil. How about yourself?
Doing great. Well, what a wild weekend at Pfeiffer that the Tornadoes embarked on. And Coach, I appreciate you coming on the show after, what seemed like a couple marathons at Pfeiffer over the weekend, but would love for you to sort of sum up that series and you coming away winning 2 of the 3.
Yeah, nothing's ever easy when we end up in Meisenheimer. We've played a lot of long games there. Last time we were there, it was supposed to be 2 7s, and we were there for a 9 and a 10. So it's nothing new for these guys when we get there. I think if you had to sum it up quick, it took a total team effort for us to get out of there with the wins that we did. Not getting a lot out of a starter that's a little bit banged up in game 1 and just having to piece it together. Took a lot of stuff for game 1. It meant an entire pitching staff, especially some older guys, having to step up and be just excellent in roles that they weren't prepared for. Cam Cook being able to come in after an injury, get himself ready, settle himself down after not pitching great right out of the jump, and give us as much as he gave us is just unique in our sport. And that was huge for us. And then the lineup just kept stepping up, inning after inning after inning, and hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting. We ran out of a little bit of gas on the pitching side in game 3. I think it's a game that we look back on as one that we should have won. I wish we could have come out of there with 3, but it took a lot of guys doing a lot of special things for us to come out of there with 2 wins. And I think we're really excited about the direction that we're going. Winning a road series in conference is a big deal. It's not something that's easy to do for anybody. Just ask anyone that has to come play at our field. So, I think they want more, but we're happy with the start that we've had so far.
And Coach Huckey, would love your perspective on the weekend at Pfeiffer. Always happy winning the series, but just the bats, the way they came alive, and incredible.
Yeah, I was really happy with the way they came out swinging the bats and they were being aggressive and especially early in the game, early in the counts, and just letting the hands fly and seeing what happens and not trying to do too much. The weather was conducive to getting the ball up in the air and letting it fly out of the ballpark. So guys were taking some good swings. I thought we had some really great approaches at the plate. I thought even though we were hitting the ball well, and sometimes it gets to be over aggressive, I thought our guys did a nice job of really just focusing in on what their task was at the point and at that time and not trying to do too much. And so they kept it simple. And we preached that the whole time. Let's just be simple through it. And a lot of guys had some great approach. We had some great 2-strike approaches this weekend. I mean, it was impressive. So it was the best I've seen this season.
We're going to have these two as guests a little later, and I'll give you the chance to introduce them then. But I just want to talk about the baseball side for a moment because these two players put up enormous numbers. Frankie Vasquez, in one game alone, 4 for 6, 2 home runs, 12 total bases, 11 RBI. That 11 RBI breaks a school record, matches the all-time USA South Conference record. Just an enormous number on any level of baseball. You see 11 RBIs, your jaw drops. And then Cale Oehler, what a weekend he had, 11 for 14. That's a 786 batting average, 9 RBIs, a couple of home runs, a double. I mean, just on and on. These two in the middle of the lineup just absolutely exploded this weekend, and what a difference maker that can be. Coach Victory, I'd love for you to comment just on that meat of the lineup, and when these two are swinging like that, watch out.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That took, that changed the course of the weekend for us. I'm going to start before I touch on how great they did. It took a lineup, and I got a text message that was like, "Why are they still throwing to Frank?" And I was because everyone was on base in front of him all the time. It felt like Cale came up second and third, first and second, walk, and then it's like, well, got to throw to Frank again. And those two did a great job of kind of like Huggy said, just simplifying the approach and going and try to get a hit. And that's when our lineup feels good, it's because everyone trusts each other to get that hit. That if it's not going to be Cale, it'll be Frank. It's not going to be Frank. It's going to be whoever's hitting behind him. And that was huge for us. The confidence that they exuded throughout the weekend, knowing that I can just go be me and be the best version of myself. And if I get out, it's going to be a stinger, and the next guy behind me is going to pick me up. And that's what you saw from them. And that's how they support each other really well in a lineup. And guys in front of them have to get on base to see a lot of those stats. Like, you don't get 11 RBIs in one game if there's no one on base in front of you. And those guys at the top of the lineup, including the bottom of the lineup, turning everything over, just had incredible at-bat after incredible at-bat and grinded it out. And I don't know how many clean innings they walked away with, and that's tough as a pitching staff if there's someone on base all the time. And Cale and Frank 100% capitalized on that when they got their opportunities and just hit the ball hard and hit the ball hard over and over again. And that's what we want from them, is just hit the ball hard. And it just happened to fall over the fence for them in a different kind of way that'll be very memorable for the two of them. I didn't even know Frank had 11 RBIs. I wasn't even counting. I just knew that we were scoring. Same thing, 11 RBIs. And I was like, what? I had to go look it up myself, and I was like, yep, that's different. So it was a lot of fun, but it didn't feel like it was individual efforts. It felt like the lineup clicked exactly as it's meant to click for us.
Coach Huck, you've witnessed a lot of baseball games. 11 RBIs is a monster number. Have you ever seen a total like that before? One, and then two, just adding to what Coach Victory had to say as far as, what this means to the ball club.
I can't remember, but I know I had some guys that were 9 and 10, and we thought that was pretty impressive. But they weren't like they were grinded out. What I saw out of our guys was, like Coach said, those top three sitting at the table. And I just got to throw this out there too and say, Coach Victory, Cale can hit pretty good, huh?
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, he's not a PO anymore. I had to get that in there. That's my little jab there. But no, it's fun to see. I've seen a lot of hits, a lot of runs, a lot of things like that. But this was electric. It was guys having fun just playing baseball and letting the chips fall where they lay. And it was fun to see that. And like Coach said, if you walk this guy, well, this guy's hot. Walk this guy, this guy's hot. It's like, it's the first time I think this season I've seen guys picking up somebody who maybe hit a ball hard and got out, or maybe got a weak ground ball or something, maybe chased a bad pitch, but somebody else came up behind him and picked them up and got us another chance to score runs. And just to see the smiles and excitement on the faces and backing each other up, from 1 through 9, it was fun to see and fun to watch. Yeah, I didn't know that Frankie had 11. I didn't know Cale had 9. I mean, out of our 40-some runs, they accounted for 19 of them right there. So or 20 of them right there. So that's helping the team in a big way. But it's like Coach said, it's a team effort. Those guys all bonded together and really went out to win the baseball games.
Yeah, just phenomenal stuff. Well, Coach Victory, it all adds up to a 5-1 start here in USA South Conference play after 2 series. Up next, a trip to NC Wesleyan. They're also 5-1, so far this year. I would love for you to, let us know sort of big picture, how you feel as far as, through these first 2 series, and then heading to, what's going to be some tough opponents coming up.
Yeah, we got a game on Friday. It's a team we know. It's a team we've played with. It's a long trip, but, it's another game for us. And we just got, a bunch more conference games to go, and we're going to take it one step at a time. I think our guys know that each of the games that we've had could have gone a little bit better so far. Even when you have 11 RBIs in a game, I think there's things that we left on the table each game that we've played. So we're going to approach the next one, continuing to grow where we've done really well and just fix those mistakes. And, we'll take Friday as it comes, and then we'll roll into Saturday, and we'll just keep going one at a time from there. I think it's easy to get caught up looking too far ahead, and, you start to look past people or take things for granted. And I think that's been important for our guys to stay grounded and, be where they are and play the game that they're in right then and there. And I think March Madness is a perfect time to talk about it when, you can be the 1 seed playing a 16, anything can happen. So stay grounded, be great in that at bat, in that moment. And what happens at the end, I keep telling the guys it's an accident. It's a happy accident of all the great things that you've done over the course of a year. So don't worry about it. Just keep doing what we're doing, and it's all going to work out, and we're going to focus on Friday for now.
Great stuff. Coach Hucky, 5-1 start in USA South Conference play. The beat goes on, and nice to have some momentum at our back.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think the guys are feeling good about themselves. I think the most important part for us is prepping for Friday and not just gearing up for Friday. I think that the guys need to keep doing what we've been doing in practice, and because they see the benefits of it this weekend. Good at bats and during batting practice, making the plays that, when the ball's hit live in the situations, and picking each other up and staying on top of each other and making sure we're all being held accountable for what we're supposed to be getting done. But just being together and prepping together to carry us into that. And, a lot of times teams have a chance, sometimes they get too hyped up and we have to beat somebody. No, only thing you got to do is outplay yourselves. And if you can go in there and outplay ourselves, we're going to be fine. Whatever happens in the end, happens in the end. And, Coach Vickery has been preaching that from day one he's been here. And, sometimes we're very, very, very good at that. And sometimes we're very, very bad at that. And that's we're dealing with young guys. But we got some growth in our program now with some of our key players, they're juniors and seniors. And I think they're starting to understand that now. If they get too hyped up, everybody else gets too hyped up, and it becomes a detriment rather than something that's going to help you. So I think they understood that. I saw it this weekend. We just got tired there at the end, I think, and cold weather on Friday kind of took a lot out of us. But we're riding a wave right now, and as long as we can stay afloat, we'll be okay.
Yeah, great stuff. 5-1 start for the Tornadoes baseball program. Coaches, can you stick around just a little longer? We're going to bring in the aforementioned Cale, Oehler, and Frankie Vasquez. Well, we talked about all the numbers already, but Coach Victory, let's start with you. Tell us about these two. What makes them tick?
Oh man, what makes them tick? That's
take a deep breath, Coach.
I have for that question. What time's it's 8:10 already? I don't know if we have enough time to really dig deep into that.
We don't got all night.
These are guys that came in with an idea that was, we're going to make the program better. Whatever you see on paper, what you've seen from Brevard College of late was not going to be how the program was when you left. And it's going to be because of guys like you that want to come in and work and do the right things and be the example. And I 100% told these guys, like, let's go break records. Let's go etch your names as the standard for the program going forward. And every day they show up, they drive me crazy, but I know they want to win. And I know they want to push their teammates. They work hard in the offseason. They do what they need to do to make the program better. Cale was supposed to pitch, and then he played outfield. And then we said, go buy a first baseman's mitt. And he's bought into that and learned that position and held it down at a top level at Division III. You can go watch Frank's highlight video as a high schooler. He was supposed to catch. Came in, we said, go play third. And now he does that at a level that no one else in this conference has matched in the last 2 years. And that's what makes them special, is that adaptability to say, yeah, what do we need to do to win? And Cale was warming up in the bullpen because he was going to go get a save if we took the lead in Game 3. So they'll do whatever that takes. And I love that about them, and I've appreciated it about them as we've gotten to this point. So I'm excited to see how their growth continues. And, I got some gray hairs attributed to some of them too. But I love them for it, and it's been great having them around.
Great stuff. Coach Hucky, anything to add?
Yeah, well, I've had gray hair before I got here, but now my gray hair's falling out with these guys sometimes. But, I love both these guys. I mean, they bring some energy, sometimes not the right energy. I won't mention any names, but I think the guy knows what I'm talking about. But I love the guy to death. And he made a comment. I think one of the best comments was, if you and I aren't arguing, we're either getting our butts kicked or we're just playing really, really bad. And I said, that's a good point, So, but no, these guys their work ethic is a lot different than it was even for each of these guys 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they were kind of still in that, can I play at this level? Can I be successful at this level? Or do I need to sit back and reevaluate a little bit where I'm at and make some changes? And then good things started to happen because they were patient. And now I'm seeing them starting to understand that they're in a leadership role and they're setting the tone for these young guys of how to get prepared for a ball game and how to play through adversity and how to get over the adversity. You know, we had some early, and we're starting to see the benefits of them keeping their heads a little bit better, understanding that, hey, you know, the way I react, these other guys are going to react differently in more of a negative way, to where it's going to be an opportunity for us to come up, hey, we got this, we can make it happen. Give me a chance to swing. Give me a chance to hit. I hear them both say that. Give me a chance. Get on base. Give me an opportunity. You know, I'm going to drive you home. And it's a team mentality. They really preach that. And, you know, like all of us, tempers get the best of us once in a while, me included. But, you know, these guys, I know that no matter what we say, what we do, they're going to go out there, going to battle and do what they can to win the ball game for us.
Awesome stuff. Coach Victory, Coach Hucky, we're looking forward to get to know these two even further on the rest of Tornado Talk this evening.
Have fun with that one.
Yeah. But thank you once again for joining the show. Best of luck at NC Wesleyan this weekend.
Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, thanks, Phil.
All right, there they go. Cale, Oehler, Frankie, Vasquez, back on Tornado Talk. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you, Phil?
Doing good. You guys have been waiting patiently backstage. Great to have you on the program now. Well, let's just start with these mind-boggling statistical totals that you guys put up, the two of you. Frankie, 9 of 16, 15 RBIs in the series, including an 11 RBI performance in the Sunday win over Pfeiffer. And then Cale, 11 of 14. That's hitting 786 for the series, 9 RBIs, a couple of home runs. Frankie had a couple of home runs as well. I mean, can you guys help me sort this out? You know, you don't see numbers like this in the sport of baseball. I mean, this is mind-boggling, you know, for us statistician types like myself and Joseph Marvin. Frankie, why don't we start with you? You know, tell us about the weekend, and you know, just what was working for you guys that, you know, you're able to put up numbers like that.
Yeah. So, you know, me and Cale, we the last 2 seasons we've had a hot start straight from the jump, and I think we could both agree that like this season we didn't have the hottest start, and we've been waiting just to get that series to turn it around, get it going. And I don't know, something just about this season, we both changed our approaches, figure out what we needed to do, figure out what we wanted to do, and we just stuck to our approach all weekend. It just seemed like, me personally, I was just trying to see the ball in deep, trying to just get the barrel to everything, and then I think Cale did a lot of the same. We've as our through the years, our names got bigger through the conference, and we're starting to see a lot more off speed and stuff like that. So it's a lot of adjusting that needed to happen, and looks like we did it pretty well this weekend.
Cale, can you add to that as far as how this weekend, and you know, the two of you, but the entire team from an offensive perspective, you know, you guys just exploded.
Yeah, so me and Frankie, we've played every game since freshman year, and the pitchers know us pretty well. So we got to adjust to the pitching and just kind of drive the ball in the gaps and get runs in.
Frankie, we talked to your coaches about it. Did you have any idea that the total was 11 RBIs?
Not at first. I knew after I hit the grand slam and the double and one of the home runs, I knew I was at 9 at one point. And then I wasn't paying much attention to it, but after the game, I realized that it was 11.
Yeah, it sets a school record, matches a conference record. And how about that, Coach Hucky, still listening. So he's watching you guys' every move. Unbelievable. But yeah, great stuff. Hey, just sincere congratulations to both of you again for like us baseball nerds to see these kind of numbers. It's awesome. Like, it's wild. I know you guys aren't anywhere close to being done yet, but congrats on this past weekend. Whatever you're doing, keep it up, and just awesome stuff. And Frankie, by the way, named USA South Player of the Week for that performance also. So congrats on that as well. Cale, tell us a little bit about this team altogether. You know, you've have a few seasons under your belt here at Brevard College. You know, the team as a whole. You know, that lineup top to bottom and so forth. And, you know, what are you noticing as far as what makes this team different, and what kind of potential do you guys have?
Yeah, so this year I think we have the most power in the lineup. We added a couple guys like CP that can hit the ball very hard.
And we got a couple freshmen that are filling the DH role, such as Nico and sophomore Gavin had a couple of starts. But yeah, I think this is the best team we've had so far, and good chance to make it deep in the playoffs.
Yeah. Frankie, I see you nodding your head. Can you tell us even more about what you're noticing about this year's team?
Yeah, just like Cale said, I think this is the most advanced lineup we've had. And I know it was a little bit of a worry knowing that we were going to lose Blake and Brett and just some of our guys last year. But I think during the fall, it really showed us how much success that is going to be ahead of us this season. And yeah, so just saying what he said, a lot more power. And I feel like the pitching has progressively got better throughout the years as well. So both sides of the ball is looking good for us.
Yeah, exciting stuff for the Brevard College baseball program. 5-1 start here in conference play. We're just getting started, just 2 series in. But Cale, what's the mentality of the team, yourself and the team as a whole, heading into this conference play as we continue on and march towards the tournament?
Just go one game at a time, focus on that one game, and then go from there. Just work behind your pitchers and keep hitting the ball hard.
Frankie?
Yeah, same what he said. And then a big thing for us is we just have to play our kind of baseball. Sometimes we worry too much about who we're playing and who's in the other dugout. And when we just worry about ourselves and keep our heads on straight, we play our best ball.
Coach mentioned each of you have that sort of unique story of, playing some different positions and finally settling in where you are now. We'll start with Cale, pitcher, outfielder, now first baseman. And that looks like, you're where you're comfortable and what makes the most sense all the way around. But tell us a little bit what that's been like for you to, have to, put on these different hats, no pun intended, and then eventually, wind up at first base.
Yeah, so in high school, I was pretty much a PO that could hit a little bit. And then I came here and I was an outfielder as well. So, I mean, I wanted to hit, but I committed as a pitcher. So, I wanted to hit. So I played outfield, and then he just wanted me to play first. So I had to adjust to that.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit, when you say you had to adjust to that, what was, the biggest adjustment for you playing first base, other than getting the glove?
Ground balls. I could not field a ground ball to save my life. And then, over the years since playing first, I've gotten a little bit better at it. Still kind of suck at it, but.
And Frankie, roots as a catcher. Did I hear that right? And now here you are at third base for the Tornadoes. Tell us about it.
Yes, sir. So I actually committed as a catcher shortstop. And when I got here my freshman year, there was 9 other catchers, and Jucker was playing shortstop. So kind of after the first practice, kind of knew I wasn't going to play either of those. And I was just waiting to assume whatever role was going to be given to me. Saw that third base wasn't fully taken by anybody, and coach talked me over there. And so that's how I got over there. Just try to be the best I could be there.
Yeah, great stuff. Cale Oehler out of Charlotte. Tell us a little bit, about your upbringing as a ball player and eventually how you found Brevard College.
Yeah, I played it my whole life. It's just been a part of a weekend thing to do during the spring and summer. But yeah, the Brevard College fit me well. I like the outdoors, like to go up in the Pisgah. So I think it was the best fit for me.
Awesome. And Frankie Vasquez out of Pembroke Pines, Florida, down in Broward County in the baseball-rich South Florida region. And you made your way up here to the mountains. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so in my junior year of high school, I actually tore my labrum, and that really didn't help in my whole recruiting process. So I didn't have many offers out of high school. And then I got in contact with Hutto, and he told me that he would love me to come up and come on a visit. And I came and I got here and I loved it. I loved the views. I loved everything about it. And ever since I've been here, it just felt like home.
One quick follow-up to that, Frankie. As you know, I'm a Miami guy myself, lived most of my life down there. Not a bad place to be up here in the North Carolina mountains if you're, a high school ball player down in Miami trying to figure out where to go, correct?
Yes, sir. It's a little colder up here.
A little colder, just learn how to wear those layers and so forth. But glad you guys both found your way to Brevard College, and congrats again on all that you guys are doing production wise. Well, do you want to take things into the classroom? What are you working on, Cale, academically?
I'm a environmental studies major, and after college, I'd like to be in the forestry industry.
Very good. Frankie, what you working on?
I'm a business major right now, and honestly don't really have a true plan yet for after college.
Awesome stuff. Well, we're glad you guys have settled into the majors. We're glad you guys are settling into, this season, and can't wait to see what's next. Congrats again. Just a monster weekend at Pfeiffer. Well, before we let you go, do you want to give you the opportunity for shout outs or thank yous? We'll start with you, Cale.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my girlfriend, my mom, dad, and all the supporters that support me.
Very good. Frankie?
Yeah, first off, give all glory to God, and love to thank my parents, my sister, all my grandparents, my girlfriend, and coaches leading up to this, and my coaches now, and all my guys.
All right. Cale Oehler, Frankie Vasquez, coming off that big weekend at Pfeiffer. Best of luck this weekend coming up versus NC Wesleyan. We'll see you back at Gilcone Field in just a matter of a couple weeks. And thanks again for joining the show. Great job this evening, fellas.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having us, Phil.
Appreciate it, Phil.
All right, that wraps up another edition of Tornado Talk. Glad you're able to join us. Make sure you follow the Tornadoes on social media. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that little bell where you'll receive all the notifications when the Tornadoes go live. All sorts of action this week. Go to bctornadoes.com to see the full schedule, and hope to see you at an upcoming Brevard College Tornado athletic event. Want to thank those behind the scenes, our producer, sports information director, Joseph Marvin, also Emily Denega and Cass Hutto, getting it done as a production assistant, but also a guest on this evening's show. Appreciate her work as well, along with Emily. Thanks so much for joining us for another edition of Tornado Talk. We'll see you next week, same time, same channel. Go Tornadoes.